I have a question for you. Should you gift your crochet to somebody? That's what we're going to be talking about today because it's coming up to that holiday season where we all want to make and give our crochet gifts to somebody. But is that the best idea? Let's talk about it. And make sure you invite the like button over to pick up all those tiny little pieces of yarn that get left all over, and subscribe so that the next time that you are working on your temperature blanket, you've got something to watch. Welcome back to another Crochet Off the Hook. My name's Nicole, and I wanted to talk about something today that I think is a really important topic. It comes up a lot this time of year, but it comes up all year long as well. And that is the idea of gifting our crochet items to somebody. And this doesn't have to be just crochet, it could be anything that's handmade. We put a lot of our time and effort into these items, and a lot of money too sometimes when we're buying the nicer yarns or spending money on the patterns. But not all of our gifts get the reception that they deserve. Sometimes we give something and the recipient's not that excited.
Wow, that bad, huh?
So I thought, let's kind of figure out, is gifting our crochet the right thing to do? I have a very strong opinion on this. And part of this strong opinion comes because I spent a lot of years not liking handmade items.
Blasphemy!
It's not that I didn't think that they were beautiful. It is not that I thought that they were less than. I just didn't like them for me. So, and I have a few people in my family that would put a lot of time and effort into working on their handmade items and give them to me as gifts. And I always felt really bad because it wasn't something that I was personally going to use. So, it was kind of one of those, oh man, if I ever am in a position where I can hand make something, I'm never going to give it as gifts because I just don't like them. So if I don't like them, who am I to assume that somebody else is going to like them? And that was kind of set the tone for me. So when I learned to crochet, I took a very different sort of perspective to this. And I said, you know what? I might gift items, but I'm going to do it with a very different sort of purpose and perspective. I don't assume that everybody is going to love my handmade things.
But nothing.
They might love the idea, they might love the thought, they might appreciate all the time and attention, but if it's not something that they're going to use, then we have a tendency to feel like we've just put in a lot more than if somebody had just gone shopping and paid money for something. There's a lot more of our soul that goes into making something than it does if we just go shopping. So it's not as jilting to us if somebody doesn't appreciate something that we purchased for them versus if they don't appreciate something that we made for them. Now, here's the thing. You could make something that is absolutely stunning. It doesn't mean that the person's going to like it. They may love you. They may find you the most amazing person ever, but it doesn't mean that they're going to love that handmade item that you created for them. And you know what? That's okay. Let them off the hook
You're off the hook.
for that. They don't have to be in love with the thing that you made for them. Just because you put a lot of time and attention doesn't give it automatically that, oh, You have to love this because I made it. That's selfish. It is absolutely selfish. I am going to call you out on this. It is selfish if you think that somebody should love that item that you made simply because you put a lot of time and attention into making it. That is selfish. Okay? Now that we got that out of the way, if you're still listening to me, I haven't like totally thrown you with that one. It's okay if they don't like it, but there are some things that you can kind of do to temper expectations. And by temper, I don't mean, that you want them to like, oh gosh, here it is. It's another crochet item. But what I mean is set yourself up to be in a better place. If we are assuming that they have to love it simply because I made it with my own hands and I spent hours working on it, then of course we're going to be disappointed when they don't. But we can shift that perspective and we can decide that it's okay if they don't love it. And if you're like, but if they don't love it, I don't want to give it to them. Okay, so here's what I do. I will gift somebody something and I will let them know if you do not absolutely 100% love this item, give it back and I will get you something else. I put a lot of time and attention into this, but more importantly, I want to make sure that you have something that you absolutely love. And if this is not it, I want to find a better home for that and I want to find something that you really love. I give them that permission to not love it because then I'm not going to be hurt if I go and I find out that it has been gifted to Goodwill or, collecting dust in the garage or whatever the case. I mean, I've heard some bad stories. It's totally okay. And I give them that permission. I let them know up front, look, I understand that handmade items or my crocheted items are not for everybody. I totally understand that. And if this is one of those items that you don't fall in love with, my feelings are not going to be hurt. My feelings will be hurt if you take something that you don't love and deny me that opportunity to get you something that you really do love. So that's one thing that you can do is really temper those expectations and give them an opportunity to have kind of an escape clause almost and say, yeah, you know what? I so appreciate that. I think there is something that I would like better than this. And I really want to make sure that somebody else loves it. Is everybody going to do that? No. Are some people still going to be butthurt? Yes. That's the state of affairs. But by you setting yourself up that way, I think it gives you kind of that mental check of saying, okay, I've got this. You know what? I can handle this. And if they don't love it, it's okay. So what if they don't? What if they don't love that? Gotta check. No, you know what? What do you think? Should I make it longer? I think it needs to be longer. I'm gonna keep going. If you discover that they are that kind of person that just really doesn't like handmade items, similar to the way that I was for many years. Now, if somebody gifted me something handmade today, I'd probably have a very different mindset about it. I would probably appreciate it a whole lot more now than I did back then. If your recipient is that kind of an individual, then just make a mental note that that's not going to be a good recipient for your handmade items and find something else that they will love, that they are going to appreciate more. Now, let's say they do love handmade items, but you're not sure what they want or you're not sure what color preferences. Here's an interesting, fun idea. Give them a handmade item gift card and let them go kind of browse your pattern library and pick the item that they would like for you to make for them. And then they can go with you or go shopping or let you know what colors that they're interested in and what they might love. This is a really good idea, especially with men and mothers-in-law, because it gives them the opportunity to find something that's going to make them happy, so that you're not just giving them, you know, kind of something else. So give them a crochet or handmade gift certificate to an item that you're going to make for them. I think that's a really fun idea, and I might actually take advantage of that one this year as well. I do have a tendency with my family to tell them, I'm upfront with them. I'm like, look, I understand not everybody loves crochet items. If there is ever anything that you would like me to crochet for you, let me know. I would be more than happy to crochet things for my family. I Not everybody wants to or can do that. I'm in a position that I can. So if they came to me and said, "Can you crochet this?" If they were to ask me, I would be more than happy to see if that's something that I could arrange. So anytime, and frankly, honestly, because crochet is all over social media right now, those patterns come up a lot. And so I would not be surprised if they came to me and said, "Hey, can you crochet this?" And I will let them know if that's something that I can do. And it would give me great pleasure to do that for them if I can. So I'll give them that piece of information. I'll give them that tip to say, anytime, anytime you find something that you're interested in, or if you're not sure that it's something, if you're like, "Hey, can you crochet I'd love to have a hat or a scarf or a shawl, but I don't know what's out there." That's okay. Just give me the clue and I'll run with it, and take it from there for sure. So that's a really great way to kind of handle it and prepare people in advance. Now, if you are really convinced that you want to make something handmade, or you're doing like a Secret Santa for a work engagement or something like that, you can do a little bit of intel in advance. You can kind of scope out some things that they enjoy, find some ideas that might make them happy. Usually work environments kind of give you a little clue on favorite colors or favorite pastimes in some way. So do a little bit of kind of advanced research to find some ideas on what they like. When you can make something that is appealing to their senses, that's going to go over way better than just making them a blanket and expecting them to love it. Maybe they don't like blankets. If somebody made a cowl for me, in fact, this is many years ago when I was first dating my husband, before I was into crochet, because I've only been crocheting for the last couple of years, my mother-in-law made me a knit cowl. Now, my mother-in-law is a stunning knitter. Everything that she makes is just beautiful. And she picked my favorite colors, purple. But I don't like having things around my neck. It drives me nuts. Even t-shirts that come way up here bother me so much. So that was one of those things that the thought was amazing. The quality was beautiful and stunning. Everything it was amazing about it, but it wasn't the right gift for me. So, I probably reacted a lot less enthusiastically than I could have. So, do some advanced research and see if you can't find some things that they might be more attracted to, and identify those kind of things. Another idea is, if it's for somebody that you are going to know on a regular basis, like maybe a family member, start with some smaller test projects. You can, make some things like ear warmers or a bag or something that doesn't take a lot of time, like a blanket might, but you can kind of gauge their reaction and see if that's something that they have more of a desire to kind of expand and explore. If they're not receptive to some of the small stuff, they're probably not going to be receptive to some of the things that are going to take you a lot more time and effort. Okay, let's see here. I think that might be long enough. Yeah, that one's long enough. So now we're going to do some curly cues for this guy. So the idea here is really just temper your expectations and understand that not everybody is going to love it. And if they don't, it is not by any means a personal attack on you. It's not personal. If they don't love your gift, it could have a million other reasons that they don't love your gift. It could be all about them. It could be the type of item. It could be the yarn. It could be the fact that they don't like things around their neck. Whatever it is, don't take it personal, and then have conversations with them and just let them know. That's what I think handmade items are a lovely, lovely idea. And I think if you don't go in with the expectation that they have to love it, and if they don't love it, it's going to hurt your feelings, then maybe it's an okay thing to do. But if you are really checking yourself and you know that they, after putting in all of this time and effort, if they don't love it, you're going to be very upset, then you probably would be better off getting them something that you paid money for instead. I think that's going to be a much better outcome for you if you do it that way. What do you think? Do you like to give handmade gifts? Do you generally have a good reception when you do? What is your response if somebody does not love your handmade gift? I'd love to hear from you in the comments below as we can continue to finish off this. I think this might be the last pumpkin I do for this season. I have 4 of them. This will be my 4th, actually. This is a big guy. And I don't know, I'm just kind of getting burnt out on doing them. I have plenty of yarn left that I could do a lot more, but I don't know that I have the energy to do them. This is one reason I don't think I could ever do markets. I get bored doing the same thing way too much. I love, love, love to have patterns that I can just not even think about and sit and watch TV and work on. And I also love to have those patterns that are constantly challenging me, that I have to really pay attention and figure out and count my stitches and where am I and what do I have to do here. I am very fortunate that I was selected to be a pattern tester and am working on that pattern right now. And it is not the pattern. The pattern is very, very well done, but I always struggle when I first start working on a pattern, brand new pattern that I've never done before. I find it, I don't know, it takes me a bit to really kind of get into the head of the pattern designer and understand what it is that they are asking me to do. It's just something that I find very challenging. My husband, he interesting kind of statement he said to me the other day. He's like, you are getting way too frustrated and working way too hard on this pattern for not being paid to be a tester. And I didn't think about it in the moment, but I'm like, honey, I work this hard and get this frustrated on patterns that I paid for, let alone ones that I'm getting free and being asked to be a tester for. So this is part of the experience, getting this frustrated and working this hard. This is just a normal part of that process for me. So that was kind of an interesting comment, but I think he was just in that moment. I was, really frustrated because I'm like, it's not working for me. And there is some definite challenging aspects to this pattern, but I enjoy that. I really do. And it has the puff stitch, which is not my favorite stitch by any means, but it's going to be a beautiful top. And on top of all that, I am working with a yarn that I've never used before that is a little tricky if I have to frog it. So sort of, a compilation of a whole bunch of moments all kind of came together at once. So, yeah, it'll be great though. I am excited to get through that and see what the product is. And I have a few other projects that I want to work on over the next couple of months. I do want to make a Christmas shirt, Christmas top. I haven't decided what pattern it's going to be. I mean, I don't want it to be a Christmas top. I don't want it to be all Clark Griswold or ugly sweater, but something that I could actually wear any time of year. And because, I live here in Arizona and it's always warm. So we don't get, there's never such a thing as sweater weather here. So I'm not into the sweaters, but if I make a top that has, I actually have a yarn picked out for it already. It's a red with a little bit of black and a little bit of shine to it. So it would be something that I could wear any time of year, even if it was initially meant as my Christmas top that I wear for the holiday get together. So that's something that I want to make. I have a few other things that I would like to make too. I think I'm going to get through this ivy and get this pumpkin finished. I have another project that I'm almost finished, but I really, really want to start something that I can just mindlessly work on. And I don't know what that is yet. I don't have enough yarn to do a blanket of any sort, and nor have I ever actually made a blanket. But I want something that I can just work on while I'm sitting on the couch with hubby and we're sitting there watching TV. I don't have to think. I don't have to really pay a ton of attention to a pattern. And this top that I'm doing for the pattern tester, once I get past the certain point, I suspect that I'll be able to do that with that one, but I have to get down to that point first. One thing that I have been doing, I've been making a lot of these curly cues in different pretty colors that I'm going to give to my granddaughter for stocking stuffers, and that her dad can put in her hair. So that's one of those things that's kind of a mindless, easy to do, kick out pretty quick. I can use up a lot of my excess yarn to do that. So that's kind of a fun one. Let's see and then coming up for the holidays, I'm going to be working on some Christmas trees. Last year, at the end of the year, I bought a bunch of styrofoam cones. I had actually ordered them in early November, I think, maybe even October, but they did not arrive until just before Christmas. So I didn't bother making any of the Christmas trees last year. Well, actually, that's not true. I do have one that I made. Not using that, I actually stuffed it instead of using the styrofoam cone. But that was it. This year, I'm actually gonna make a few of those. I probably have like 20 cones at least of different sizes. I don't think I'll make that many because, again, I get bored doing the same thing. However, I think I'll probably start working on 2 or 3 of those in this next month and see if I have those done before Thanksgiving. And in the midst of all that, tomorrow, as of this recording, we are going to pick up our brand new dog who we adopted from our animal control center, aka the Pound, here in Arizona in Maricopa County. And she's getting spayed tomorrow, so we'll be able to pick her up after her surgery. We weren't allowed to bring her home until that happened. But she's a year old and she's a husky mix, so I am really excited to get to bring her home and introduce her to our other dog and have them, join our family. And yeah, I love dogs. I love dogs. All right, I am done with my curly cube. Scissors, I am not sure where those are at the moment. So we'll go ahead and stick that there. And we will wrap this up for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe, and we will talk to you on Tuesday with another tip. Not sure what this one will be about, but I'm sure it's going to be awesome because they all are, right? Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.